What's going on, everybody, and welcome back. So in this episode, we're going to be working on more Five-Lug stuff, more restoration. It turned into more than just Five-Lug. It turned into entire suspension restoration. So sorry if this video series is kind of drawn out, but it's kind of a lot of effort and a lot of work. I'm taking a lot of time and putting a lot of effort into it. Not that it matters that much, but you know, it'll be nice in the end, and it's gonna look pretty sweet. So what I'm working on right now is I got the rear subframe, obviously, that I took out, and these guys right here, the control arms that are the lower control arms, they're actually frozen in place. So even though I got this this guy out of here, this nut and washer are gone, and I still cannot remove this bolt. It is frozen in place. So unfortunately, I'm sort of tearing the bushing apart right now. But basically what I did on this side over here is I used the Sawzall to chop this one out right along the edge here, and then I was able to pry this apart. This guy was actually like this, and I used an air hammer to chisel this out, like you see here. So the head of this guy is no longer. This is our little slider here that's going to allow us to slide it through the slot here. You can see there is some adjustment here on the factory setup, but I got some Megan Racing adjustable arms here, and I'm going to show you guys all the adjustable parts that I ordered. I kind of ordered a bunch of stuff. So I have some stuff over here that I'll show you. These are a bunch of parts that are ready to be painted. I have to go through and paint everything pretty soon before this stuff starts to rust. But I got my trailing arm all cleaned off. I'll talk to you guys about that. But I did get these are the upper control arms that are all adjustable here with this jam nut and this spinning center section. So I'll loosen both of those, and I'll be able to adjust the camber and give myself hopefully exactly what I need for the camber. And then I got some other ones on the way as well. I did get also some lower control arms for this because I'm gonna explain to you guys what happened over here. But basically, this is my parts graveyard, minus this one. I actually first I took this to work, this front control arm, and I decided that I'd press out this bushing here. Don't ask me why. I wasn't thinking clearly. It was the end of the workday, and I was like, oh, let me get that bushing pressed out. So I attempted to press this bushing out on the press, and I actually bent the control arm. You guys probably can't see it, but when held up to the other one, I actually bent it in the press. So that's kind of an oops. So not only was I bending it, I also tried to press out the wrong bushing. So this is the one that I needed to take out, and I kind of failed at that. So I come home and I decide I'm going to go work on this, and I bend this control arm in the vise because I kind of messed it up pushing the ball joint press through here and trying to press that out, and then I got the socket stuck in here. So what I ended up doing was putting this in the vise and banging it with a hammer, and I bent it like crazy, and I was like, this is ridiculous. So I just kind of was like, damn, let me just rethink this whole thing. So I bought lower control arms, which I'll show you, and I have this bushing that I took out of the other front control arm. And I'll show you guys that. I have this guy right here, and he is all sandblasted, and the bushing is removed. That is what you saw over there. So I am now ready to put my poly bushing in here. So I'm all set with that. I got to paint this as well. So I have a lot of parts to paint, but as far as the trailing arm, what I've been doing with this guy is just coming through, and I actually scraped all the undercoating off of this because the undercoating doesn't like to come off from the sandblaster. So I kind of scraped it all. I have like a huge pile of it on the ground over there, but I'm going to go through and scrape this whole one too. I'll show you guys what I'm doing with that. And basically, yeah, that's the overview of everything that I'm going to show you guys, because I did about half of everything just to see how I was going to do it, and now I can actually show you guys all the stuff. Maybe it'll be time lapses because it's all kind of just boring stuff that takes a long time. So a lot of sandblasting left, and a lot of scraping left, and a lot of cutting. But at the end of all this, we are pretty close to being ready for reassembly here. I just have to get the rest of the stuff together and the rest of the stuff painted, and yeah, the rest of the stuff coming in the mail as well, because I have stuff that is coming in the mail. And then we'll be able to put it all back together. So I got the second one cut. That actually went a lot quicker than the first one. I think I did a better job of actually cutting only the bolt or something. I don't know what I did. I think it's because this bushing was totally toast. I was actually able to spin it. It was totally shot. So I think this was, yeah, based on the way this is in the right rear, which I always had such a bad squeak in the right rear. It was always like, every time it went over bumps, and I knew it was something back here. Definitely was that guy. So I'm glad that I'm addressing this. I had so many squeaks in the suspension. Those kinds of things drive me crazy, guys, because like especially when it's like a car that I put this much effort into, when it squeaks coming down the driveway every day, it just bugged me. So I'm stoked that I'm gonna fix all that crap, and we're gonna have all new parts, all new poly bushings. I got a huge mess going on, but these are the calipers assembled for the rear, so those are looking good. I got poly bushings for the rear, which I may or may not need since I already bought a bunch of parts. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to, I don't think I'm going to undo the Megan Racing stuff just to put these in. Maybe I should, but I don't think I'm going to, just because it's brand new stuff. Maybe I'll just save these for someday. If those bushings do squeak or something like that, I don't know, maybe I'll just do it right. Maybe I'll just, I don't know if I want to wreck the new stuff, but I have this for the front as well, and I ordered sway bar end link bushings too, so I have all kinds of stuff. I ordered a lot of parts. I'm spending a ton of money. I know I totaled it up in the last one, but it's much more than that now because I bought a bunch more stuff. So we're going crazy with it. I got adjustable front control arms for camber, adjustable camber front control arms for Megan Racing, and the rear tow arms, and some nice aluminum ones too for the lowers in the back that you may or may not see under the lip. So I got a bunch of cool stuff coming, and that'll be coming soon. But yeah, so we're moving along. So we got next thing here is scraping that guy, and I also have to press out all the bushings here, which is going to be not too much fun. This is also, like I said, another issue that I had here, a little clunk and bang and noise here, so we're going to be fixing this too, which is super cool. So I'm going to go ahead and take these out, and I got to figure out how I'm going to get these bushings removed here without destroying this setup here. So that's the next plan. So I just realized something, and I think this might definitely be applicable to a lot of you guys, but if you check on this, this is the part that goes in your upper control arm in the front, and what this guy does is he holds the control arm up to your actual shock tower up top. And what I just noticed was that this guy is all bare metal, and these guys are all smashed in on the control arm, which means that this thing is so low, and these control arms are coming up so high that the problem is it's hitting this. So that's definitely an issue. That's definitely part of my issue. I think that was why this is making all kinds of noise and clunking. When I would hit the brakes hard in reverse, it would always bang, 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 bang. And I think that it was that right here. I think this is what the problem was, because this is metal on metal contact. And that is always what it sounded like, but I never could pinpoint it. It was tough. So I think that's what it was. These are all tucked all the way up in there, and I couldn't see it from the underside really. So now that I know that these, yeah, look at that. That like self-clearance itself way in there. That almost bent everything up. So that's crazy. I hope that the new control arms that I got, the Megan Racing ones, they don't hit. I think that it's much bigger open design with the two forks on the tubular setup. So hopefully it doesn't hit, and it's a lot nicer than this. And I hope that this doesn't hit as well, because I really would hate to have to clearance, my shock tower there that I painted. So we'll see how they fit. Maybe we got to jack the car up a little bit. I do plan on getting bigger wheels and tires, but I guess we'll cross that bridge when we get there. I just hope everything works together, unlike this stuff, because this was not working. So I do need to rob these front brake lines off of here. So I'm going to go ahead and pull these front brake lines off and get these set up to go in the sandblaster so I can paint them with this next round of stuff. And yeah, that is going to be the next process, and I have to get somehow all these bushings out. So I got my other arm out of here last night. I chopped it out with the Sawzall. I just want to show you guys my process for these. I already did get one of these guys out, or at least the center section pressed out. So I still need to take the outer casing off. You can see there's still the the metal part that's there, but I got all the rubber part out, so I'll show you guys the next step. But for this step, what I have here is my ball joint press, and I've got just a 10 mil socket, something that's small enough to go on this, but not large enough that it'll get stuck in the rubber when you're pushing it through. Because I had that problem in, the last time I was trying this. But I have my impact gun. This thing is like awesome for this because it's got so much power. It just blows right through it. So what I do is get it all set up and put some pressure on it. And then realistically, this thing kind of needs some heat to let go because these bushings are not that old. Maybe if your bushings are totally shot, they'll press right out. But these are relatively new. I did these when I did the suspension over when I first bought the car, before I even had the channel. But these bushings are pretty shot. You can see that they're all crooked. I don't know if you'll pick it up on camera, but they're totally sideways, and they were definitely banging on the control arms right here really bad. So I'm glad that I'm replacing these with some nice poly bushings. So I'll show you guys the process of me heating this up with a little MAP gas and then pressing the bushing out. It's really not too bad once you get a little heat in it. Socket is halfway stuck in there like I was talking about, but got it out. So this one's out as well. Another one done. So I'm going to do all four, and then I still have the other control arm to do as well, the new one that I bought. So I'm going to do all that stuff, and then I got to get to making some cuts here with the Sawzall. I got to charge up my batteries. Upon pressing one of these guys out, I took the center section, pressed it out like you guys saw, and then I used my Sawzall to chop one of these and then fold it in, push it through. And yeah, unfortunately the bushings that I have don't fit in here because these aren't OEM. These are some like Detroit axle ones I bought when I got the car. So none of these are gonna work, so I had to buy OEM control arms with these bushings in them, and I'm gonna have to press them out once I get them and then just toss the arms because I got other arms. And then I did buy this other one because I bent the other one, and I'm a little bummed. It's not the same quality as the OEM. Like the OEM you can see is really thick, and this is kind of thin. I guess it'll be fine, but I don't know. A little bit disappointed. I probably should have just bought a used OEM one because now I'm stuck with this. I pressed that bushing out and I didn't realize this is so thin. Maybe I should have not bought an aftermarket one, but it is what it is, guys. I'm getting too picky with it. You know, nobody's ever going to see this stuff, and I'm sure it's plenty strong, but just know that the OEM ones are definitely better, and you should stick with OE. But yeah, it is what it is in this scenario. We are going to just make do with what we got. So I got these bushings that absolutely do fit in here, which is nice to know that these guys will go and sit inside of here, and we're gonna have our poly bushings in these arms. I got these these sport JDM bars here, and they already come with bushings in them. I don't know if I'm gonna try to, if these come out easily, I might just take these out and put in my nice Prothane ones because these are cheap eBay. I just really wanted the arms. But if they're not the same size or whatever the case is, I don't think I'll be able to press these out. Actually, they look like they're pressed in. So it is what it is. Not worried about it. I'm just gonna rock them like this. They do look pretty sweet, so hopefully they add a little bit of a nice look to the backside of this thing, but subtle because they're still black. So yeah, I'm just gonna carry on here, pressing stuff out and sandblasting and moving along here, and I'll show you guys what we end up with once I get all that stuff squared away. The captive rotor setup, which is super annoying. Also, I don't know, maybe that seems like it's really tough to turn, but yeah, anyway, this right here is great setup. It's super beefy, new bearing, everything is brand new, so I'm really stoked to put these knuckles on, do our 5-lug swap. I think we're really going to see a performance increase from this. I'm confused as to why this is so difficult to turn. I wonder if this bearing was totally toasted, or if the caliper is just squeezing it, which I think might be the case. It's freeing up now. But anyway, that's that. We're gonna have a pretty decent upgrade here, just giving you guys a good size comparison between the two. That is definitely much bigger, and these calipers are much redder, so I'm very pumped. Everything looks awesome, so I'm stoked, guys. Can't wait to get this on the car. So it is a Thursday night and I'm back at it. I got a different GoPro tripod because my old one was broken and I was still using it, but it's nice to have something new, so it's pretty good. I like it thus far. So I got my rear subframe. I didn't really do too much to this, not like crazy like everything else, because I figured I'm just going too crazy. So this, you're never gonna see it, so I'm just gonna go ahead and find some black spray paint over there and hit this with that, and then this thing will be all set. I did rust convert some of the rust that I found after wire brushing it, because I do want to prevent everything from rotting out. So that'll be good. I'm gonna go ahead and hit this thing with a little bit of black paint, but I'll wait till later tonight. For right now, what I'm gonna do is work on my axle, because I did find out at one time when I was taking this thing apart, I definitely banged a screwdriver in there, and I don't know if you guys can see it. The light kind of makes it worse, but it is all chewed up on there, and that's really only where the dust seal rides. It's super tough to actually focus. I have some macro lenses, I should use them right now, but basically on here you can see that the seal rides out here, but the dust seal kind of rides right where that line is. So I think my dust seal was kind of torn based on where that is. So I think that it was making my axle seal leak, because I've always had a leak since I put the car back together last, and I think that is why. So I need to get a new axle seal and try to fix this. So I'm gonna try to make that less of a sharp burr and more of just a recessed area if I can, just at least on the outside, so that our dust seal doesn't get ripped and we don't lose any transmission fluid, because I think we have been slowly just winging it around and it just kind of makes a mess and it doesn't really help with the look, and it's getting on stuff, so it kind of bugs me. So I'm gonna try to fix it, and so I'm gonna take a file to it. I have like a nice little file set, and so I'm gonna try to smooth it out a little bit. We'll see if we can make it any better. So I think this is where I'm gonna cap off this video. I know it's another video with not too exciting of an ending, but that's just the process. We got this side all test fitted, so I guess maybe this is a bit of an exciting ending, because I think this came out really sweet. It looks awesome. I don't have the upper control arms yet. I need to get those. I'm really hoping that they're gonna fit okay. I'm hoping that I don't have any clearance issues up top with running them. I don't know exactly where things are gonna be. I hope that I have enough room. I don't think that the car is that lowered. If I have to jack it up, I guess that I will. Maybe I'll see if I have to bang this out of the way or whatever I have to do to make them fit. I'll evaluate once I get them, but I hope that they fit. I did take the sway bar out to work on that a little bit. It seems like there's a little bit of rust where the bushings ride, so I'm going to try to rust convert that, and then I'll put the sway bar back on. But we are all test fitted here, and it seems like it's going to fit pretty much like the stock one does, so I'm pretty happy about that. So I got some more things to recondition, sandblast, and finish up. I'm just going to keep plugging along and do the undercarriage as well. I may retain the factory heat shield and just trim it so it doesn't rattle. I think that might be my best bet to keep from making a fire, and also to make sure that I don't spend too much money on the undercarriage. Maybe someday I'll do something better. If you made it all the way to the end, I'd appreciate it if you guys subscribe and like the video, and don't forget to check out the merch. I'll put the link in the description if you guys want to buy a shirt, and I'm going to make some stickers too. Let me know if you guys would be interested. I think a nice vinyl sticker would be pretty cool, so hopefully we can all rock them on our cars. But yeah, anyway, thanks for watching and stay tuned. We'll have more content coming up pretty soon. Peace.